Hi everyone, this is audap. Let's continue our game of Detective Pikachu. Pikachu Returns, running on Nintendo Switch. Okay, let's interview some people. You're a people. This is the jewel storage room, scene of the crime. Okay, you're useless. This room is currently being searched by the police. And a few people that are not useless. Let's find them, hopefully.
Hello there, Detective Tim. Oh, I mean, Detective Goodman?
Larry Turner, newest staff member of the Dennis residence. Wait, you are a detective, right? That's what Mr. Dennis said, at least. The name's... Wait, that's not proper enough. Sorry. My name is Larry Turner. I'm a member of the house staff. House staff, huh? Seems in over his head. If you need anything, just let me know. I mean, please inform me if... You really don't have to be so formal with us. Thanks. That's a huge relief. I've got this job a while ago, but I'm still not used to talking all fancy. Uh-oh, is that a problem? Well, it's a good thing for me that Barnes deals with all the important guests. My main duties are taking care of the Pokemon, managing the house, and groundskeeping. And I can handle all that no problem. I don't know. This guy isn't exactly filling me with confidence in his ability to do his job. Anyway, you wanted to ask about what happened, right? I mean, I already told the police everything I know. I'm really sorry for taking up more of your time. Oh, sorry, that's not what I meant. I'm not complaining or anything. It's just that I don't remember what happened very well. Something attacked me out of nowhere, and I blacked out. Something attacked him? So not the thief, then. Can you please tell us more about that, Mr. Turner? Sure, no problem. About the crime that took place. Right, so where to start? I was just doing my job like normal today. I'd made food for the Pokemon, I did some cleaning around the mansion, and that sort of thing. I think I was tidying the garden when it happened. I saw Ducklet fly out of the second-story window. As I recall, I wonder where she was going. I mean, usually Ducklet just walks out of the front door. It seemed weird to me, so I went upstairs to see what was going on. That's when I saw that the door to the jewel storage room was wide open. And if that wasn't shocking enough, the moment I went to look inside, I suddenly got punched by a Pokemon. The next thing I knew, I was lying on a sofa and someone was treating my wounds. A Pokemon punched you? Yeah, I feel like I glimpsed a small red figure for just a moment. Based on the size, it couldn't have been human, so I'm guessing it was a Pokemon. A red Pokemon? Do you know what kind it was? I'm really not sure. It all happened so fast. I see. I'm so sorry that happened to you. But I'm glad you weren't seriously hurt. That's what the doctor said too. No Pokemon would want to steal the Aurora Drop. It's possible that the culprit ordered their partner Pokemon to swipe the jewel and punch out Turner. So, Tim, now that you've heard Turner's story, what do you think? We need to find the Ducklet that flew out of the window and that red Pokemon too. Yep, you got it. About the culprit.
Excuse me?
Did you see anything else when the Pokemon attacked you? The thief who brought the Pokemon along was probably nearby. Unfortunately, that's all I saw. I see. Can you think of any other details that might give us a clue about the culprit? Nothing in particular coming to mind. I mean, Mr. Dennis is such a nice person. I've never heard of anyone holding a grudge against him. And I was really surprised to hear that Barnes is a suspect. You don't think Barnes is responsible? I guess the police must have some reason to suspect him. But honestly, I just can't believe it. Barnes is still showing me the ropes around here. He's a great coworker with tons of experience. I mean, if you'd known Barnes before all this, you could never imagine him being a thief. About the Aurora Drop.
Excuse me?
Do you know anything about the stolen jewel? The Aurora Drop? I've never even seen the thing. I've been shut up in that storage room ever since I was brought to the house. Of course, I know it's valuable and all. I assume that's what's been causing all the arguments between Mr. and Mrs. Dennis lately. What sort of arguments? In case you haven't heard, Mr. Dennis says he's going to donate the Aurora Drop. Seems like Mrs. Dennis is against the plan. They've been fighting about it almost nightly. Every night? It must really be a point of contention. I guess Mrs. Dennis just doesn't want to give up such a valuable jewel. So the Aurora Drop's been driving a wedge between husband and wife, eh?
Yes? You certainly don't look like you're with the police. State your business.
Claudia Dennis. Sanjeev Dennis's wife. We're detectives. Mr. Dennis asked us to investigate the incident that occurred here. Detectives? Well, I suppose my husband did say something about that. Your husband? That must mean you're Claudia Dennis, Sanjeev's wife. I'm sorry to bother you, but do you mind if we ask you some questions? I do mind, actually. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. The case has already been solved. What do you mean? The police said that Barnes is behind all this. So the matter's settled. We've heard that he's under suspicion, yes. But we can't be certain it was Barnes who committed the crime. You sound just like my husband. But nothing you say will change the fact that Barnes is the culprit. Barnes' partner, Ducklet, was up to no good. I saw it with my own eyes. Did you witness the crime? Barnes' partner, Ducklet, was involved in the crime? You look as though you don't believe me. About what you witnessed.
Excuse me?
Is it true that you witnessed the crime? Well, I didn't exactly see it clearly. Huh? But I did witness some irrefutable proof. What exactly did you see? At the time of the incident, I was enjoying a cup of tea in my room on the second floor. Just then I noticed a bird Pokemon flying outside the window. A bird Pokemon? Yes, I clearly saw a blue bird Pokemon. It had to have been Ducklet. We did find blue feathers near the window and in the storage room. So, were those Ducklets? In hindsight, she was obviously stealing the jewel. I also heard a faint sound just before that, like something metallic. A metallic sound? Do you know what could have made that noise? No, I don't, but the storage room was ransacked, wasn't it? I suppose she must have broken something in the act. And I've heard it confirmed that Ducklet's feathers were found in the room. Isn't that proof enough that Barnes is the culprit? I had some orange juice earlier. Makes my tongue super weird sometimes. She's pretty darn convinced of her own theory. But all it's based on is a metallic sound and the sight of a flying blue bird Pokemon. Pretty flimsy if you ask me. Yeah. I'm sorry, Mrs. Dennis, but that information alone isn't enough to definitively prove Barnes is the culprit. Then hurry up and find whoever it is, and get that jewel back. Isn't that what my husband hired you for? I get that she's upset, but she doesn't have to take it out on us. About Barnes.
Excuse me?
Mrs. Dennis. Mrs. Dennis seems... Or Mr. Dennis seems confident that Barnes is innocent. Oh yes, I'm sure he is. He's always been too trusting. Especially when it comes to Barnes. Those two really trust each other that much. I'm told Barnes has worked here for a very long time. Much longer, in fact, than I've known Sanjeev. I suppose that's why Barnes is always taking my husband's side. What do you mean by that? Whenever my husband and I have a disagreement, Barnes inevitably sides with Sanjeev. Even though I'm sure he believes he's being impartial. That lack of self-awareness is yet another one of his many flaws. I get the feeling Claudia is not a huge fan of Barnes. Do you think that's why she's so sure he's the thief? About Ducklet.
Excuse me?
Could you tell me more about Ducklet? Ducklet is Barnes' partner. She dotes on him tirelessly and is always by his side. You mentioned earlier that she might be involved in the crime somehow. Would Ducklet be capable of such a thing? Yes, she even helps Barnes out with his shopping. She'd certainly be capable of making off with a jewel. Well, whether or not Ducklet stole the jewel, the one thing that seems certain is that she really loves Barnes. About the Aurora Drop.
Yes?
The Aurora Drop is an incredibly valuable jewel. Mr. Dennis told me the same thing. But do you really understand? Can you even comprehend just how valuable it is? Huh? I knew it. Just look at those blank expressions. Hey, my face always looks like this. As it is, I'm not even sure my husband understands the true value of that jewel. After getting his hands on something so precious, why would he want to donate it to Ryme City? So, you're against donating the Aurora Drop? Of course I am. treasures like that aren't meant to be paraded about for the general public. They should be preserved for quiet observation by a select few. Huh, hard to imagine her quietly doing anything. Cleffable. All ears for mansion gossip. Fab. Oh, it's Cleffable. Mrs. Dennis's partner, apparently. Can I ask you a few questions? Fee. Whoa, what gives? Don't need to be so rude. What's wrong? Seems like she's real suspicious of us. Maybe she's feeling sensitive after the incident here. I take it you've heard that what Mr. Dennis has to say. I'm guessing he also told you about his butler. He's definitely not pleased that Barnes has fallen under suspicion. Yeah, sure seems that way. In my position, I'm not at liberty to share all the information we've gathered. But if there's anything I can do to help, just let me know. Thank you. At the time of the incident. What was the situation in the mansion at the time of the incident? We're still looking into that. I'm sure you'll get more direct answers by asking the witnesses themselves. He's right. We should take this one step at a time and gather our own intel. About Barnes. I was told Barnes is the police's prime suspect. Well, the circumstantial evidence certainly seems to be pointing in his direction. He doesn't sound terribly convinced. Does anything strike you as odd? Yes, actually. I can't think of a single motive for Barnes to steal that jewel. He doesn't appear to bear any ill will towards Mr. Dennis, and he's in no trouble financially. That being said, we may uncover a motive in the course of our investigation. But for now, I can't say anything with certainty. Understood. About the Aurora Drop. I heard the Aurora Drop is an incredibly valuable jewel. The Aurora Drop is not just valuable, it's famous throughout the entire jewel industry. Then there must be plenty of people who'd like to get their hands on it. Could the jewel have been stolen by an intruder? I can't rule out that possibility, but based on current evidence, I'd say the likelihood of a burglary is low. About my dad. Inspector Holliday? I know this has nothing to do with the current case, but... You want to ask me about Harry? Yes. Do the police have any new leads on my father's whereabouts? I'm sorry, Tim, but we haven't made any developments on that front. Oh, well, thanks anyway. Still don't understand it myself. Harry was working on the R case when he went missing. So it stands to reason that if you followed that thread, you'd find Harry too. But the case has been closed and we still don't have a single clue. Seriously, where did Harry disappear to? Don't be discouraged, Tim. Look at how far you've come in 2 years since you moved to the city in search of your father. You become such a great detective that the mayor recognized you with an award. You'll find Harry, I'm sure of it. And in the meantime, I'll keep offering whatever help I can. Yeah, you're right. Thanks, Inspector Holliday. Hey, I have a couple of questions to ask. Got a moment? Monarch. Don't want to waste time chatting while you're on duty, huh? Awfully stubborn, aren't you? You're even harder to talk to than Brad's Menetric. The name of this painting is Golden Sunrise, and it depicts... Oh, a Pokemon that's spoke of in legends. They say it brings eternal happiness and that its wings shine like rainbow-colored light. Rainbow-colored light, huh? The painting sure is beautiful, but I'll bet the real thing is even more breathtaking. Lieutenant McCaster is currently interviewing Mr. Barnes in this room.
Excuse me?
I guess it would be too much to ask for us to join in, right? I'm afraid we can't allow even the great Detective Tim to do that. Police protocol, you understand. Lieutenant McCaster is currently interviewing Mr. Barnes in this room. It's some tea to serve to visitors. I prefer coffee myself. Ask me anything you'd like. About the symbol of revival. What makes the Aurora Drop a symbol of revival? 2 years ago, during the R incident, my jewel shop suffered considerable damage. Wait, you were a victim of the R incident? Yes, some Pokemon who'd been exposed to R went berserk. The rampage destroyed my shop, to say nothing of the damage done to my jewels and other goods. By that time, I'd already had the Aurora Drop. I kept it stored safely in the shop. So was the Aurora Drop damaged too? No, as a matter of fact, it wasn't. Of all the jewels in my shop, the Aurora Drop was the only one to remain unscathed. In fact, debris fell so perfectly around the Aurora Drop that you might believe it was being protected. That's incredible. I guess there's some magic left in the world after all. Ever since then, the Aurora Drop became known as the jewel that survived the R incident. People started visiting my shop just to see it. And thanks to all that attention, my business was able to get back on its feet. Sounds like a valuable jewel, in more ways than one. What made you decide to bring it back to your mansion instead of keeping it at your shop? I decided to donate it to Ryme City. The Aurora Drop? But why donate something so precious to you? It's not just precious to me, and that's exactly why I decided to donate it. Mayor Myers has done his part in improving our city by declaring the start of Pokemon Friendship Week. I thought it was about time I did mine. So I want to donate the jewel that survived the R incident as a symbol of Ryme City's revival. I hope that by doing so I can help liven up not just my shop, but the whole city as well. Wow, Dennis, I'm impressed. That's a wonderful gesture. I'm glad you think so. Not everyone is so pleased about it. Oh? Forget I said anything. I shouldn't burden you with concern over such personal matters. For now, I'm counting on you to find the Aurora Drop as quickly as possible. Understood. We'll do everything we can. Growl. It's Dennis's partner, Growlithe. She sure doesn't look happy. Growl. Apparently she feels responsible. No wonder she's so down. Maybe we should leave her alone for a while. Now then, Mr. Barnes, we'll thank you not to leave the mansion until further notice. Understood. Hey, sounds like the police finished questioning Barnes. Let's go talk to him. Yeah. Brandon Barnes, butler of the Dennis residence. How did it come to this? Why are the police so suspicious of me? Excuse me, are you Mr. Barnes? Who might you be? Excuse me. I'm Detective Tim Goodman. Mr. Dennis hired me to investigate the crime that occurred here. Is that so? My apologies. I'm Brandon Barnes. I work here at the Dennis residence as a butler. Do you mind if we ask you some questions, Mr. Barnes? I realize you must be tired. Oh, my goodness. I realize you must be tired since you were just questioned by the police. Please don't worry about that. If you've been hired by Mr. Dennis, then it is my duty to give you my full cooperation. Thank you. What would you like me to speak about first? At the time of the incident. I was away when the incident occurred. It wasn't until after I'd finished my errand and entered the house that I'd realized something was amiss. I'd heard Turner cry out from the second floor. When I rushed upstairs, I found him collapsed on the floor in front of the jewel storage room. So that means Barnes was the first witness to arrive at the crime scene. Did you see the thief or their partner Pokemon? No, nothing like that. Wait, if Barnes ran up the stairs, you'd think he would have run straight into the thief. If he didn't see anyone, could they have escaped from the second floor? Did you check the storage room? Yes, the door was already open, and when I looked inside, I saw that the Aurora Drop was gone. I then contacted Mr. Dennis and the police right away. Is there anyone who can corroborate your whereabouts at the time? Unfortunately not. It was only afterward that Mrs. Dennis came out of her room to see what the commotion was about. And the only others in the house at the time were Growlithe and Clefable. Naturally, no one can take witness statements from Pokemon, so I'm afraid I have no alibi. That's where we come in. The Pokemon that live in the mansion might know something. The culprit. Mr. Barnes, do you have an idea who the thief might be? Not a clue, I'm afraid. But I do know that Mr. Dennis and I are the only ones who can freely use the key to the jewel storage room. Grolith guards the key with constant vigilance, so I imagine it would be very difficult for anyone else to take it from her. I suppose it's no great wonder that the police suspect me given the circumstances, but I would never do something so senseless. At least this confirms that only those two have access to the key. About Ducklet.
Yes.
Ducklet is my dear partner Pokemon. Just look at this photo. Ah, that's Ducklet with you there? Yes, isn't she adorable? Just look at her feathers. Simply beautiful. But that's not all. She's also incredibly clever and even helps me out with my work. Oh, excuse me. I'm terribly sorry. I tend to get a bit carried away when I speak about Ducklet. That's really no problem. You mentioned that she helps you with your work. What exactly does she do? Let's see. She runs errands for me, such as buying coffee beans from a local cafe. Oh, she buys coffee beans. Nice. There's a place nearby called the High Hat Cafe. Perhaps you've heard of it. She regularly goes shopping there by herself. If that's their go-to cafe, then it's got to be for the High Hat blend. Guess I shouldn't be surprised that Ryme City's elites have such refined taste. I asked her to go to the cafe today, in fact, but she hasn't yet returned. Could she have wandered off somewhere? Do you have any idea where Ducklet might be? Unfortunately, no. The feathers around the scene of the crime are Ducklet's, right? Yes, no question about it. But I haven't the faintest idea why Ducklet's feathers would be there. Just the thought of her getting caught up in the crime somehow. I'm so worried I can hardly think straight. About the Aurora Drop. Out of all the jewels in Mr. Dennis's collection, he considers the Aurora Drop to be his most precious. He worked tirelessly to acquire it in the first place. You might even say that the Aurora Drop is the physical manifestation, the crystallization of Mr. Dennis's career as a jeweler. I wish nothing but swift retribution on the thief who stole it from him. For someone who speaks so formally, Barnes is a pretty passionate guy, isn't he? Please, Tim, find the Aurora Drop. I beg you. Don't worry, sir. We're on the case.
Well,
Based on Barnes' testimony, I'm really not surprised the police suspect him. Yeah, if only there was another witness, at least. About that, aren't you forgetting something, Tim? Huh? Barnes told us that Grolith and Clefable were in the mansion at the time of the incident, remember? Oh, right. Maybe the Pokemon saw something. Exactly. You can leave the rest to me. Let's go question them.
Tim.
Medic. No need to glare at us like that, Manetric. Manetric! Calm down already. We're not going to get in the way of your police work. Brad's Manetric is sure is committed to the job. True, and he's been keeping watch, so if anyone tried to hide some evidence, he'd spot it right away. I guess he is helpful in that way, but... Manek! I just wish he'd dial back his aggressiveness towards me. What do you want, great detective? Have you finished questioning Barnes? For now, anyway, we just haven't finished gathering our evidence. Doesn't change the fact that Barnes is still a suspect. If you don't mind, could we ask you some questions? If you insist, but I have no intention of sharing confidential information with you. About Barnes.
Excuse me?
Is the storage room key the reason the police suspect Barnes? Oh, so you know that much already. Well, no point in denying it. The only two people who can access the key are the homeowner and his butler, Mr. Dennis, and Barnes. I highly doubt Mr. Dennis staged all this himself, which leaves Barnes as the only logical suspect. Clearly, Barnes used the key to get inside the storage room, then had Ducklet fly off with the jewel. That's my working theory. Duly noted. We don't have any decisive evidence yet. Well, we're going to find this Ducklet that flew the coop, and then we'll get definitive proof. You'll see. Well, I'll be continuing my own investigation. Suit yourself. About the investigation. Are you following any leads other than Barnes? Of course we are. We've already collected statements from every last person in this house. Do you mind if I ask what your impression of each of them was? Well, I suppose I could tell you that much. Mr. Dennis seems rather shaken by Barnes falling under suspicion, and his wife Claudia is reacting quite impetuously. She's been approaching us repeatedly to demand that we hurry up and wrap up our investigation. Oh, that's gotta be tough. I almost feel bad for Brad. One of their staff members, Turner, has been very cooperative with our investigations. He's told us a lot about everything that happened up until he lost consciousness. I suppose that's all I can say for now. Thank you. We'll keep that in mind. The police can question people, but they can't talk to Pokemon. Interviewing the Pokemon around here... oh, excuse me. Interviewing the Pokemon around here might help us paint a clearer picture of what went down. Yeah, I don't know. This Pokemon wouldn't talk to us. Hey! Ah, she still looks awfully suspicious of us. Let's try again later.
What would have happened if Ryme City didn't have a great detective like me? Maybe I was guided here by some kind of inexplicable force.
That was what you wanted to talk to me about? Come on, dude. Looks like the police are done questioning Barnes, but they're still searching the room. Right, let's investigate somewhere else. Hey, Grolith. Sorry to bug you when you're already feeling down, but it would be alright if we asked you some questions? Growl. We're here to catch the thief, and we need your help to do that. Growl. You're willing to talk to us if it'll help Sanji? Thanks. Sanji? Grolith's nickname for Dennis, near as I can tell. Oh, right. His full name is Sanjeev Dennis, so I guess Sanji makes sense. Anyway, Grolith, can we start with the questions? About you, Grolith. Well, gotcha. As Dennis's partner, it's your job to guard the mansion. And we already know the key to the jewel storage room was around your neck. Growl. It's important to Dennis, so guarding it is important to you. Makes sense. Growl. She says she's never let anyone other than Dennis or Barnes even touch the key. Wow. So that's why you feel extra responsible for what happened, huh? She's really got a strong sense of responsibility. Don't worry, the two of us are going to crack this case. At the time of the incident. Do you remember anything about the time of the incident? Wow. You don't know because you were napping? Wow. What? Your breakfast was so tasty that you ate too much? And it made you sleepy? Huh, been there, believe me. What are you even talking about? Wow. You woke up when Barnes got home? That would have been right before all the commotion happened. And when you woke up, your precious key was gone. They poisoned the dog. Oh. Yeah, I can tell you're upset. Wow. You'll do whatever it takes to help us catch the thief? Thanks. We'll come back and ask for an assist if anything comes up. Hold on a minute. About Barnes. Go. She says Barnes is a kind and well-mannered person. He and Dennis are close, and she never seen them fighting or arguing. Mr. Dennis really does seem to trust Barnes after all. Growl. And Growlithe likes Barnes too. Judging from what Growlithe says, it's hard to think of Barnes as a likely culprit. There wasn't anything in Growlithe's testimony that can help us prove Barnes' innocence. Only one left to ask is Clefable. I'll do what I can to get Clefable talking to us. Thanks, Pikachu. Fate. What? You think we're thieves returning to the scene of the crime? You got it all wrong. We're not here to steal anything. We're actually great detectives looking to catch the thief. Please, can you answer some questions? Fate? Yes, really. Come on, you can trust us. Fate? Yeah, help us out, and I'm sure Claudia's bad mood will clear up too. Fate. So, you're willing to talk to us? Thanks. Guess Clefable is worried we'd do something bad to Mrs. Dennis. How about you, Clefable? Do you have a job here at the mansion? Hey. No job per se, unless you count spending time with Claudia. Isn't that tough hanging out with someone so prickly? Hey. Claudia's not a bad person, you say? Sorry, didn't mean to be insulting. Fei. So Claudia's always arguing with someone or other. But when it's just you and her together, she starts to regret the whole thing. I get it now. Your job is to cheer her up when she gets into arguments. Wow, you're actually pretty nice. I bet Clefable's really important to Mrs. Dennis. At the time of the incident. Did anything strange happen today? Hey. Clefable's saying she got real sleepy while playing in the mansion this morning. Hey. Then she dozed off and doesn't know what happened after that. That's too bad. Oh, so they have a Pokemon that can put everybody to sleep? It's those sheep Pokemon. Time to shear them. But Barnes. What do you think of Barnes? Did you get along with him all right? Fei. Claudia doesn't like Barnes, so Clefable tries not to have too much to do with him. Hey. But she doesn't think Barnes is a bad person. After all, she says, Barnes ran to help Turner when he got hurt. Wait, does that mean that Clefable saw Barnes going upstairs to help Turner? Yeah, it's gotta. Clefable, what else can you tell us? Fei. Clefable was dozing near the front door this morning. When Barnes got home from doing stuff outside, she woke up and greeted him at the door. Fei. Then Clefable and Barnes heard Turner cry out on the second floor, so they both went running upstairs. And that's when, to their surprise, they found Turner on the floor. That means when Turner was attacked, Barnes was still on the first floor. Well, really.
Okay, let's start deducing.
Oh, okay, fine. Alright, we got some useful information. Let's stop for a moment and get our thoughts together. Based on everything we heard, is there anything that suggests Barnes is innocent? Let's review the information we gathered and see what we came up with. Barnes doesn't seem like he would betray Mr. Dennis. Would Barnes really betray Mr. Dennis? They've known each other for a long time, and Mr. Dennis trusts Barnes implicitly. Barnes may be the culprit. He had access to the key. Well, we know that's not true. Barnes may not be the culprit. He returned to the mansion after the crime had occurred.
Okay.
We learned that Clefable greeted Barnes when he returned to the mansion, and Growlithe said she woke up exactly at the same time. Barnes and the others only became aware of the crime after that. Doesn't that mean that Barnes couldn't be the culprit? Barnes was on the first floor when Turner was attacked. That would have made it very difficult for Barnes to steal the jewel. I'm not sure we can prove Barnes' innocence with that alone. Yeah, we can't exactly disclose the testimony that came from Pokemon. No one would believe us. It looks like we're going to need other evidence to prove his innocence. We can't lift the suspicion around Barnes with Clefable's testimony alone. I think we're going to need some other kind of evidence to prove his innocence. But where should we look for it? Nothing immediately comes to mind. At times like this, it's best to try to investigate other leads. We might find a thread somewhere unexpected that leads us back to this. To get close to the truth of this case, we've got no choice but to find the Pokemon that witnesses saw. Witnesses reported seeing a red Pokemon in Ducklet. I wonder if the Pokemon that cut open the jewel case is the culprit's partner. It makes sense to think that, but no such human was seen by witnesses. Having said that, though, we might learn something if we can find the red Pokemon. Let's head to the city and get some leads on that red Pokemon. I'm sure we'll be able to figure out what Pokemon it actually is. At this point, it seems unlikely that Barnes is the culprit. But then, why did Ducklet leave from the second floor window? Seems unlikely that it's got nothing to do with the jewel theft. Finding Ducklet will be the quickest way to confirm that. Good call. Let's head into the city and look for her.
Okay.
Looks like the only way to continue our investigation is to gather info in the city. But where should we go? Should we go after Ducklet or search for the red Pokemon? If you're unsure, why don't we try following Ducklet? I think we have a better lead to go on for that than the red Pokemon. Oh, right. We did hear that Ducklet was supposed to go buy coffee beans today. I'll bet you she went off to the High Hat Cafe. You're right. We should probably go search the cafe. Let's not waste any time, Tim. Huh? You mean you won't help me? I understand how you feel, ma'am, but we're in the middle of an investigation right now. Yes, but what should I do? Looks like that woman has a problem. Sure does. I doubt it has anything to do with our case, but it's hard not to want to help someone who's in trouble. That's the spirit, Tim. If we see a person or a Pokemon with a problem, let's do what we can to help them. That's what makes us the city's great detectives. But we do need to prioritize our current case. This is something we can help with when we have the time. Right. First, let's hear what she has to say. Good idea. During your investigation, people in Pokemon may request your help solving their problems. These people in Pokemon have a blue speech bubble. If you see them, try talking to them. Local concerns that you've agreed to help with are added to a list. You can check this list at any time by pressing the Y button. Keep in mind, some of these requests aren't necessarily problems in the strictest sense. Excuse me, may I ask what's wrong? My Lilipup's gone missing. Oh no, what happened? We were taking a walk together in Serenity Park. I guess Lilip must have been having too much fun. He got so worked up, he took off like a rocket. I've been searching all over for him, and now I'm exhausted. That police officer won't look into it for me either. I don't know what to do. We can't just ignore this. That's right, helping people is a detective's job, and finding lost Pokemon even more so. We'd like to help you, ma'am. We're detectives, so we're pretty good at looking for lost people in Pokemon. Really? That would be a huge help. Can you think of anywhere your little pup might have gone? Well, I've already searched the park pretty thoroughly, but I haven't looked for him in the city yet. Also, my little pup likes quiet places, but I'm not sure there are any places like that around here. I think that's enough information for us to go on. Please wait here while we search for him. I'm so sorry to add to your workload when you already look so busy, but thank you. I hope you find my sweet Lillipup. If we see a Lillipup during our investigation, we should talk to it. Cuckoo. If it isn't Pedo. Glad to see you're feeling better now. Who? Who am I? What do you mean? I just rescued you a little while ago. Who? It's forgotten the whole thing. Well, Pidove are known for their forgetfulness. Whimsy? Cut. They seem happy. What are they talking about? They're saying that no matter how many times they visit this city, it's always bustling and full of fun. Do you suppose they witnessed anything? We can certainly ask. How about you, Whimsicott? Oh, you ride on seasonal winds that take you all over the world, huh? The city seems even livelier than usual whenever the Whimsicott arrive. Whimsy. Okay. Soon you'll be leaving the city to travel somewhere else. Oh, you like coming here every year because you can meet so many different Pokemon. I'm happy to hear that. about the cotton. Is this cotton yours? Yeah, the Whimsicott say it's theirs. We actually found this in Mr. Dennis's mansion. I don't suppose you've been in there. Whimsy? Maybe you have. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. Come on, you gotta remember at least that much. Oh, this one does remember. What did it say? It thinks it remembers going into the mansion while playing with its friends. It thinks so? That's not a very clear answer. Yeah, let's ask for more details. How'd you get into the Dennis residence? You said you might have been in the mansion, but how'd you get inside? You went in through the window with your friends? Why would you do that? You don't remember anything after eating breakfast this morning? What the heck does that mean? Please, it's really important. Just try to remember. Some human you don't know asked you to do it? What was this stranger like? You don't remember because it was someone you'd never seen before, huh? Now look here, you might be an accessory to theft. Huh? You have no idea what I'm talking about, do you? You think the Whimsicott may have been unknowingly involved in the crime? If they were, they're blissfully ignorant of it. After all, playing pranks is kind of their whole deal. This complicates things. About the red Pokemon. Have you two seen any red Pokemon around here? Kuka? Oh, Barnyard is red, and you've recently become friends with one? Barnyard? That's a Pokemon with blades all over its body. And it's true that Barnyard's pretty red. You often run into Barnyard at the terrace in Serenity Park. And on windy days you play with Barnyard by picking it up and flying it around. They say they like to fly Barnyard all the way here from Serenity Park. Serenity Park is the big park just beyond here, right? Yeah, the terrace is way over on the far side. Maybe we can find Barnyard there. You remember when you last played with Barnyard? Oh, lately you've been playing together every day, even today? In that case, we might be able to find it there now. If we go meet Barnyard, we should be careful about how we treat its favorite rock. It has a favorite rock? Apparently there's a rock at the terrace that Barnyard really cares about. One time they accidentally stepped on it and then Barnyard got mad. Real mad. Wow, that's scary. We better watch where we step. About Ducklet. I don't suppose they've seen Ducklet around here, have they? Okay, I get it. You didn't see her. If they didn't see her, I wonder where she went. Do you suppose Barnyard is the red Pokemon we're looking for? Apparently it's good friends with the Whimsicott that went into the mansion. So it seems pretty likely. It'd probably be fastest just to go meet it and ask. But we still have to track down Ducklet. Should we look for Ducklet or Barnyard first? Either is fine by me. We can start with whichever one you'd like. Thanks, Pikachu. Thank you for coming to help. Take care out there. Oh, thank you. Did something happen? No, nothing happened, kid. There's just police all over the place. You know, they love to be where nothing is. Serenity Park. This place is huge. That's Serenity Park for you. Whimsicott said Barnyard hangs out around here. And the terrace is their usual meetup spot. Shall we go look? Or shall we go look? Raboot. It's Raboot, a Pokemon known for its excellent footwork. Rab. What's it saying, Pikachu? It wants us to be quiet because it's trying to think up a practice routine. Oh, I see. Let's leave it alone then. Someone seems to have planted a tree right in the middle of the path. It's such an inconvenience. Ah, come on. Lickitung stopped again? He keeps getting distracted. Lickitung licked every flavor life has to offer. Popular among its peers. Lick lick. What a long tongue. Oh, that's all it has to say. Okay. Well, you know, regular Pokemon games are not known for like impressive amounts of dialogue, so yeah. Ribombi. Oh, look, a Ribombi. Ribombi makes pollen and nectar to make all kinds of different puffs. Boom, boom. Ah, sure seems busy. Apparently it's making pollen puffs for its cutie fly to eat. Those little bugs have big appetites while they're growing up, so it's got to prepare a ton of food. Sounds like a lot of work. Let's just watch and try not to get in the way.
You there! Wait, you wouldn't happen to be that great detective duo, would you?
Charles Murlock, scientist. That's Johnny Depp, huh? What the hell are you doing here?
Such a huge fan of yours.
Are you looking for 20-year-olds to marry? Oh dear, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Charles Murlock. I'm a scientist working here in Ryme City to deepen our understanding of Pokemon. A scientist, huh? What's that? You'd like to hear more about what I do? Actually, my research has been recognized by Mayor Myers himself. Now I'm helping out with a new policy that he and the city council are working on. You might say I'm the brains behind the Ryme City's latest policies. This guy's intense. And he seems like the type who doesn't even listen to what others are saying. If you two great detectives have any questions for me, by all means, fire away. After all, I have something in common with you both. We're all working to help Ryme City. We're all coming to the same place, comrades with the same goals. So I'm prepared to answer any questions you have. Thank you. Guess our only chance is to play around. I guess our only choice is to play along for a bit. What a drag. About your research.
Excuse me?
What sort of research are you doing, Mr. Murlock? My research explores the nature of communication between people and Pokemon. Sounds complicated. No, it's quite simple, really. We're just trying to help Pokemon understand human language. Imagine what that'd do for Ryme City. It'd make life here so much more entertaining and simple. A whole city where people and Pokemon can go back and forth like we can, huh? That really would make Ryme City an even better place. Don't you think? Helping with the policy.
Excuse me?
What exactly do you help the mayor with? What exactly do you do to help the mayor with policy development? My domain is science, not politics. I can't actually propose new legislation. What I can do, though, is develop new machines and equipment. I also help distribute them to the people and Pokemon of Ryme City. I'm proud to contribute to my city with the power of science. That's wonderful. Isn't it? Mayor Myers came up with the idea for a bill to help people and Pokemon coexist. So I feel duty-bound to use my position as a scientist to support it. Sounds like he's warming up for a speech. I can tell he's passionate. I can tell how passionate you are about improving the city.
Oh, can I ask you a favor, Pikachu? Would you allow me to give you a quick health exam?
Oh, that definitely sounds like...
Ow! Hey, what'd you just do to me?
Definitely sounds like Johnny Depp. Oh dear, is this a Pikachu upset with me? I only plucked a bit of fur and the test results should be ready in just a moment. What exactly are you doing? This is a machine I created at Mayor Maya's request. It can measure a Pokemon's vital signs in record time. In other words, it's made to quickly check a Pokemon's health. I'd say that's a good thing for both people and their partners, wouldn't you? Yes, it sure sounds like it. Way to bury the lead. Okay, it's ready. Now let me see. What's it say? It's detecting caffeine? Ah, did someone say caffeine? Seeing as he's working as a detective, I figured this was no ordinary Pikachu. These results are truly fascinating. Hello, Mr. Murloc? Oh, do forgive me. He's quite all right. No problems at all. I suppose his triglycerides are a bit high for a Pokemon. My what? He does seem slightly different from a regular Pikachu, though. Huh? Is there something weird about me? Well, now that you finished your checkup, I think we better get going. Huh? Yes. Sorry to have taken up so much of your time. Good luck, great detectives. Thank you. Come on, Pikachu. Stop sulking and let's go. Huh. Hi, Triceratops. Phalanx. Lynx. There sure are a lot of amazing Pokemon around. These ones are so well coordinated. What a neat formation. It's mesmerizing to watch. Is it really? Terrace.
This is the top, yeah?
Look at that, Pikachu.
Huh?
From here you have a perfect view of the dentist residence.
Hey, Tim, what are you thinking? I'm pretty sure that window is the one in front of the jewel storage room. A Pokemon capable of flying could go straight into the mansion from there. Yeah, if our thief was getting help from a Pokemon, this would be the perfect vantage point. This is where the Whimsicott usually meet up with Pawniard, right? That's what they said, but I don't see it anywhere. If it was here earlier, maybe it left some kind of sign. Well, Pawniard are known for their blades. It's not much, but it's the only lead we got. We better get looking. These torn up leaves have rough, uneven edges. Do you suppose Pawniard did that? It looks to me like they were bitten, not cut. It's cotton. It probably fell from here when the Whimsicott were playing with Pawniard. What's up with this rock? It's covered in gashes. Has something been scratching at it? These gashes look like they were left by something sharp, like a blade. I doubt a human would be strong enough to make clean cuts like these.
Okay, let's start deducing.
What do you mean let's start deducing? I haven't even been everywhere.
Start deducing.
Oh, I guess I have been everywhere.
Okay.
Did you figure out where the red Pokemon is? Search where the Whimsicott flew to. Pawniard and Whimsicott apparently play together often. Since they flew to the dentist residence together, we won't be able to find Pawniard if we search inside the mansion. Search near the rock. It's highly likely that slash marks left by the rock made by Pawniard. This proves that Pawniard comes to the terrace. It's possible the torn up leaves with rough and even edges were left by Pawniard, who was eating them. Pawniard must be near the leaves. Probably here.
Okay.
We did find a rock that was covered in slashes, as if it was been cut up by sharp blades. Maybe those slashes were made by Pawniard. That's definitely the rock that the Whimsicotts were talking about. Hold on a minute. That's definitely the rock that the Whimsicots were talking about. So if we go to where the rock is, we might find Poniard there. Alright, let's take a look around that rock.
Well,
Can you think of any way to draw the Poniard here? Sing near the rock, climb on the rock, wait next to the rock, climb on the rock.
Oh,
Whimsicott said that Poniard got angry when they stepped on the rock. Oh yeah, you're right. Good memory. Maybe Poniard will show up if one of us climbs on it. Worth a shot. Let's give it a try. How's this? I just hope it's actually here to see this. What? Poniard. It's Poniard. Just like Whimsicott said. Papa. Okay, it's saying, darest thou tread upon my cherished rock? What is the meaning of this? Thine answer shall determine thy fate. I will show thee no mercy. Wait, what? Wow, it's really angry. Sorry, we just wanted to find you. We weren't trying to mess with your rock or anything. Ah. Oh, thank goodness. Said it'll forgive us, but just this once. You want to know why we were looking for you? Fair enough. We've got some questions we'd like to ask you. Would you mind talking to us for a bit? It says it'll talk. How about you? So, you've been traveling all over as part of your journey to warriorhood. I'm sorry, did you say journey to warriorhood? Apparently it travels all over the place to practice and improve its moves. It says that because it was born with these blades, it wishes nothing more than to master them. Poniard is that proud of its blades, I bet they have razor-sharp edges. It says it can easily slice a rock in two. This might sound a bit strange, but you haven't been punched. This may sound a bit strange, but you haven't punched anyone recently, have you? Poniard says it's never punched a single person or Pokemon in its life. Good point. You could cut something with those hands of yours, but you definitely couldn't punch it. Yeah, on second thought, you'd wind up with a different injury if you were punched by a Poniard. Are there any other Poniards in the city besides you? What's it saying? Apparently, it's never seen any other Poniard. About the Dennis residence. We heard from some Whimsicott that they went to Mr. Dennis's mansion. Were you the one that went with them? Poniard's not sure if it was the same place, but he vaguely remembers going to a big house. It says it entered the house together with the Whimsicott. How'd you get inside the mansion? Apparently Poniard likes to get picked up and flown around by Whimsicott. So, you think you might have gotten inside the mansion that way? Do you happen to cut a jewel case while you were in the mansion? So, you can remember the sensation of cutting through something, but the rest is a blur? This is important, so please, try to remember. It says its mind feels all foggy and it just can't remember what was going on at the time. Sure makes things difficult. About Ducklet. Have you seen Ducklet around here anywhere? It hasn't seen her. Great. Where could Ducklet have gone? We finally managed to find Poniard, but we weren't able to learn anything useful from it. Yeah, and some of what it said even contradicted testimony we gathered earlier. Maybe we could get more information if we had proof that Poniard entered the mansion. It's asking if we're done here so we can get back to training. What sort of training does it do? It's planning on cutting rocks and things to sharpen its skill and blades. Cut rocks? Wow, would it be willing to demonstrate for us? Oh, good idea. It would be a big help to see what a cut from a poniard looks like. Yeah, it says it would be happily grace us with a demonstration. Thank you. We'll watch quietly so you can focus.
Awesome.
This is a clean slice, and the metallic sound Poniard's blade made when it made contact. It all matches with what we know of the crime scene. That means that the Pokemon that entered the mansion must have been Poniard. But neither Whimsicott nor Poniard remember clearly. What's up with that? I can't imagine that the Pokemon are lying. Their behavior is pretty unusual, but there must be a good reason for it. I don't think we'll figure out what's wrong with their memories until we investigate a bit more. Right, let's do what we can right now. We should consider looking for Ducklet now that we found Poniard. Barnes said he'd asked her to pick up some coffee beans today, didn't he? Yeah, maybe someone at the High Hat Cafe saw Ducklet there. Now that you mention it, we never managed to go there ourselves after Holiday showed up.
Tim. So, your hands are blades, huh? Wow, that's pretty neat.
Okay, why don't we stop it there? This is Autopostrophe. You've been watching Detective Pokemon Returns, running on, or Detective Pikachu Returns, running on Nintendo Switch. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.